This is it. This is the last one that we're going to have
the epic return of Yellowstone, premiering November 10th, only on Paramount Network.
America's number one news, ABC News, now streaming 24/7
The candidates
on
closing
Disney+.
out their campaigns with late-night rallies. What new polls
this morning
show
on
about
World
the
News
national
Now,
race
Election Day
and the
is
battleground.
finally here. Plus, what to expect tonight
This
as the
is it.
polls
This is
close
the
and
last one that we're going to have to
which
do.
states to keep an eye on in a race that is neck and neck.
New overnight, the scheme by Russia to put explosive devices on planes to the candidates closing out their campaigns with late-night rallies. What new polls
all the big
show
deals
about the
to be
national
had on
race
this
and
election
the
day.
battleground.
Plus, what to
Tuesday,
expect tonight
November
as the polls close and votes are tallied. Which states to keep an eye on?
Explosive devices on planes to
This
the
is
U.S.
World
We'll tell you
News
how it was
Now.
uncovered.
And if you vote, you save.
Happy
All the
Election
big
Day.
deals
Good
to
morning,
be had
everyone,
on
and thank you
this
so much for
election
joining
day.
us. I'm Rhiannon Alley
Tuesday,
alongside Andrew
November
Dimbert, who doesn't love a great deal. We'll tell you all about those coming up a little bit later, but we have to begin with the final word to voters just hours before the polls close.
The tiny town of Dixville Notch
who
kicked
doesn't
off
love a
election
great
day, as it
deal?
usually does with its
We'll tell you all
traditional
about those
midnight
coming up
vote.
a little bit later, but
It was
we
a
have to
split
begin. Who
decision
doesn't
with 3 for Kamala Harris and 3 for Donald Trump.
The vice president spent her last day of campaigning across Pennsylvania, even knocking on a couple of doors, but we have to begin. Ask
Dixville
voters for their
Notch
support.
kicked off
And
election
former
day,
president
as it
returned
usually
to
does
Grand
with its
Rapids,
traditional
Michigan, where he
midnight
held
vote.
his final
It was a
rally
split decision with
2016 and
3 for
2020.
Kamala Harris and
ABC's
3 for
Selena
Donald
Wang.
Trump.
The vice president spent her last day of
Former
campaigning
President
across
Donald Trump is
Pennsylvania,
delivering
even
his
knocking on
closing
a couple
message to the
doors.
American people in battleground Michigan.
Where he held
This
his
marks
final
his final rally,
rallies in
closing
2016
out
and
nearly a
2020.
decade of Trump
ABC's
rallies, which has
Selena
become a
Wang was there.
fixture in American politics.
Former President Donald
Former
Trump is
president
delivering
leaning
his
into his
closing
arguments around
message
the
to the
economy
American
and
people in
immigration,
battleground
vowing
Michigan.
to end inflation and to crack
final
down on
rally,
illegal immigration. Closing out nearly
Kamala
a decade of Trump rallies, which has
delivered
become a
soaring
fixture
prices.
in American politics. The former president leaning into his arguments around
And
the
true
economy and
economic
immigration.
anguish at home, war and chaos abroad, and a nation-destroying invasion on our southern border, invasion of some of the greatest criminals in the world that are pouring into our country.
And we're not
true
going to take
economic
that. We're going to
anguish
end
at
that
home,
like
war and
immediately.
chaos
But his
abroad,
remarks are also
and a nation-destroying
meandering. He is
invasion on
airing
our
his
southern border,
grievances
invasion of some
against
of the
politicians
greatest
that he
criminals in
doesn't
the world
like.
that are
He is
pouring into
attacking
our
the vice
country.
president's
And we're
intelligence,
not going to take
and he's
that. We're going to
baselessly
end that
claiming
like
that Democrats can only win elections if they cheat. As a former president continues to airing his grievances about the election against. I've been speaking to supporters here at the Trump rally, and they tell me that they support the former president because they believe that he'll improve his finances and because they support his policies around immigration.
There's a lot of illegal immigrants.
As a former
I guess they call
president
them
here at the
undocumented
Trump
citizens,
rally,
but
and
illegal
they
immigrants,
tell me
everyone
that
say
they
it,
support the
coming over here
former
and attacking
president
women
because they believe that he'll improve
brutally
his
attacking women
finances
and
and because they support
killing
his
them, and that's
policies
very, very sad
around
for me.
immigration. This race is razor thin, and both candidates
There's a lot of
are
illegal
rushing to
immigrants.
get out the vote
I
in
guess
these
they call them
closing
undocumented
hours
citizens,
because
but
in a
illegal
race
immigrants,
this
everyone
close,
say it.
it
Coming
all
over here
comes
and
down to
attacking women
turnout.
and
Selena
brutally
Wang,
attacking women
Grand
and
Rapids, Michigan,
killing
ABC
them.
News.
That's very, very sad for me.
Selena,
This
thank you for
race
that. Vice
is
President
razor
Harris kept
thin,
her closing
and both
message on a
candidates
positive
are
note.
She wrapped
rushing
up
to
the night
get out
with
the vote in these
star-studded
closing
concert
hours
rallies
because
in
it's Michigan,
Pittsburgh
ABC
and
News.
Philadelphia. Lady Gaga,
Selena,
Katy
thank
Perry,
you for
Ricky
that. Vice
Martin
President
were among
Harris
the
kept her
performers, and
closing
Oprah
message on a
brought
positive
out
note.
some
She
young
wrapped up
first-time
tonight with
voters
star-studded
in a show concert rallies.
The final event was held on the steps of Philadelphia Museum of Art, made famous, of course, by the movie Rocky. Harris calling the site a tribute to those who start as the underdog and climb to victory. ABC's final event was held on the steps of Philadelphia Museum of Art, made famous, of course, by the movie
starkly different
Rocky.
tone than we heard
Harris
from
calling the
President
site
Trump.
a tribute to
And
those
the
who start as
momentum
the
is on
underdog
our
and climb
side.
to victory. ABC's Matt Gutman is there.
It was a very starkly different tone than we heard from President Trump.
And the momentum is on our side. And the aspirations and the dreams of the American people. We are optimistic and we are excited about what we can do together. And the aspirations
In Reading, Pennsylvania,
and the
his
dreams
speech,
of the American people.
using the typical Trumpian weave, but a lot about immigration, about fear, about murderers crossing the border, about the evil on the other side that needs to be stopped. This is a very different message. She's clearly trying to reach out to the other side, to people who still those very few Trumpian very valuable voters. A lot about immigration, about fear, about hoping to gain some purchase with them as well. The evil on the other side just needs to be 7 hours. This is a very different message. Open here, and clearly that is what you want people to remember as they go to see very few of very valuable voters who might be able to decide undecided at this point.
Our thanks to
hoping
Matt Gutman
to
there.
get
A
some
new
purchase with
Ipsos
them as
poll
well.
has Harris 2
Now
points
just
ahead of Trump
7 hours until
among
polls
likely
open here,
voters,
and
effectively
clearly that is
tied
what you want
within that
people to
margin of
remember
error.
as
And
they
once
go
the
to
final
Stephen
votes are
Colbert
cast
tomorrow
tonight,
for
it could
very
take days to
historic
find
day.
out who will be the next
Our
president.
thanks to Matt Gutman there.
The
A new
first polls
Ipsos
that will
poll
close
has
tonight are
Harris
in
2
eastern
points ahead of
Kentucky and much of
Trump
Indiana at 6
among
p.m.
likely
That's when
voters,
we'll get an
effectively
early
tied
look at how Trump is
within that margin
performing
of
in
error.
traditionally red districts.
Tonight,
one
it could
vote
take
could
days to
be
find
that
out
swinging
who will
vote
be
to change
the
something.
president.
At 7 p.m., the first close polls in that North will close Carolina tonight and Georgia, are in eastern an early win Kentucky for and much Harris of in either Indiana state at would be 6 pivotal p.m. for her.
That's when
Georgia
we'll get an
Secretary of
early
State
look
says
at how
election
Trump is
officials
performing
should
in
have results
traditionally
quicker than
red
previous
districts.
years,
Or
thanks
one
to a new
vote
check-in
could
process.
be that
They don't
swinging
have
vote
long
to change
lines,
something.
and so we get the results posted very quickly.
At 7:30, an early win for Ohio in either state would see whether Democrat Sherrod Brown, Secretary of State, says election officials should have results quicker than previous years, thanks to a new check-in process in Pennsylvania,
They don't have
the
long
largest
lines,
prize among the
and so we
battleground
get the
states,
results
but
posted
it may
very
be
quickly.
days before
At
there's a winner
7:30,
declared
polls
in the
close
state.
in
That's
Ohio,
because state
and we
law
could see
prohibits
whether
election
Democrat
officials from
Sherrod
counting
Brown
absentee
hangs onto the
ballots
Senate
in
seat
Pennsylvania
in what has
until
become
election
a
day.
reliably
They
red
are
state.
aware that
At
they
8
are in a
p.m.,
race
polls
against
close
the
in
clock.
Pennsylvania,
They've
the
got to
largest
tally the
prize
votes
among
as
the
quickly,
battleground
as
states,
accurately as
but it may
possible.
be
They think
days
they can
before
do
there's
it
a winner
by
declared
perhaps
in the
Wednesday
state. That's because
afternoon,
state
maybe a
law
bit
prohibits
later
election
for
officials
the more
from counting
competitive counting.
absentee ballots
At
in
9
Pennsylvania
polls
until
close in
Michigan
Election
and
Day.
Wisconsin.
They are aware
Election
that
results
they
may
are
be
in a race
delayed in the
against
city
the
of
clock.
Warren,
They've
Michigan,
got to
because
tally
no
the votes
absentee
as
ballots
quickly
have
and
been
as
counted
accurately
there
as
yet.
possible. They
Warren,
think they
unlike
can do
other
it
cities
by
in
perhaps
Michigan, opted
Wednesday
not to
afternoon,
utilize
maybe
the
a bit
state's
later
new law
for
that
the
allowed
more
the counting of
competitive
absentee
counting.
ballots to
At
begin
9
last
p.m.
week.
polls
Close in
results may
Michigan and
also take
Wisconsin.
days in
Election
Arizona.
results may be
Officials can
delayed in
start
the city
counting
of
ballots
Warren,
as soon
Michigan,
as they're
because no
submitted,
absentee
but
ballots have been
Arizona
counted
law
there yet.
also gives
Warren,
election
unlike
officials
other
about
cities
2
in
weeks
Michigan,
to finish
opted
counting.
not to utilize the state's new law that
Delays are
allowed
also
the counting
expected
of
in
absentee
Wisconsin
ballots to
because,
begin
like
last
Pennsylvania,
week.
state
Results
law
may also
prohibits
take
counting
days in
absentee
Arizona.
ballots
Officials can start
before
counting
today.
ballots
Yeah,
as
and law
soon as they're
enforcement is
submitted,
bracing for
but
possible
Arizona law
election-related
also gives
violence
election
after
officials
a
about
growing
2
number of
weeks to
threats
finish
across
counting.
the country.
New fencing has been set up. Delays near are also Capitol Hill. expected in The White Wisconsin House because, and like the Vice Pennsylvania, President's state official law residents prohibits and the National
counting
Guard
absentee
is on
ballots
standby.
before
Activated
Yeah, and
in
law
18
enforcement is
states.
bracing
This
for
newly
possible
released video
election-related
shows the
violence
moment
a ballot
after
drop
a growing
box
number of
exploded
threats
across the country.
New
Vancouver,
fencing has been
Washington
set
last
up
week,
near
destroying
Capitol Hill.
hundreds
The White
of
House
ballots.
and the
The
Vice
Democratic
President's
Party of
official
Indiana
residents
warned
and the National
of text
Guard is on
messages
standby
sent to
or even
voters that
activated
falsely
in
claim
18
people could
states.
see
This
who
newly
they
released
vote
video
for.
shows
In
the
Arizona,
moment
a
the
ballot
Maricopa
drop
sheriff
box
has horseback
exploded
patrols
in
ready to be
Vancouver,
deployed
Washington
if
last week,
necessary
destroying hundreds
to
of ballots.
protect the vote.
The
And the
Democratic
district
Party of
attorney in
Indiana warned
Philadelphia is
of
not
text messages
mincing
sent
words.
to voters that falsely claim people could
Anybody
see
who
who they
thinks
vote
it's
for.
time
In Arizona, the Maricopa sheriff has horseback patrols
to
ready to be
deride,
deployed
to
if
mistreat,
necessary
to threaten people,
to protect
F
the
around
vote.
and
The
find
district
out.
attorney
We
in
do have the
Philadelphia
cuffs, we
is
do have the
not
jail cells.
mincing words.
Strong words there, and as voters
Anybody
head
who
to the
thinks
polls in
it's time
California, dangerous
to
winds
insult,
could trigger power shutoffs
to deride,
for nearly a
to
quarter million
mistreat,
people. But
to
officials
threaten
say there should be
people,
no
F
voting
around and find
disruptions,
out.
even if some
We do
polling
have the cuffs,
locations
we
lose
do have the jail
electricity.
cells.
New overnight, Russia is being
Strong
accused
words
of
there,
plotting
and
to
as
send
voters head to
explosive
the polls in
devices on
California,
airplanes headed to the
dangerous
U.S.
winds could
Investigators
trigger
in Europe
power
started
shutoffs
uncovering the
for
alleged
nearly a
scheme
quarter
over the
million
summer
people. But
after
officials
two
say there should be
devices
no voting
ignited at
disruptions,
DHL
even
hubs
if
in
some
Germany
polling
and
locations
England.
lose
4 people have now been
electricity.
charged. New overnight, in Russia polling is in being connection accused with of the plotting plot to send security explosive experts devices say on its danger airplanes headed cannot to the be U.S. underestimated. Investigators in Europe started
If one of these
uncovering the alleged
devices
scheme
were to
over the
go
summer.
off in the
After
cargo
two
hold of an
devices
airplane,
ignited at
it would
DHL
quickly
hubs in
consume
Germany and
anything
England.
around it
4
and
people have now
potentially
been
burn
charged
through
in
the
Poland in
airplane.
connection with
If
the
that
plot.
airplane were not
Security
within
experts
10
say
minutes
its
of the
danger
landing,
cannot
there
be
is no way
underestimated.
that they could safely land
If
that
one
airplane.
of these devices
Think
were to
about
go
what
off
happen if an airplane disappeared somewhere over the North Atlantic? Consume anything ground commercial and potentially burn through the world. If that airplane were not within 10 minutes of a landing, there is no way that they could
The plot is
safely
considered a
land that
serious
airplane.
escalation
Think
in
about
Russia's
what would happen
campaign
if an
against
airplane
countries that are helping
disappeared
Ukraine.
somewhere over the
The
North
TSA
Atlantic.
says there's
It would
no active
ground
threat
commercial
targeting
aviation.
USA-bound flights. The plot is
coming
considered
up
a
on a much
serious
lighter note, Election Day
escalation in Russia's
deals.
campaign against countries that are helping Ukraine. The TSA says
growing
there's
danger
currently
involving
no
kids
active
and
threat
caffeine,
targeting
why the number of kids
USA-bound
ending up in the
flights.
emergency
Coming
room
up
with
on a much
caffeine
lighter note,
overdoses
Election Day
is
deals.
skyrocketing.
And why fans are sending up prayers for one of the unofficial
growing
hosts
danger
of
involving
ESPN's
kids
College
and
Game
caffeine,
Day.
why the number of
You're watching World News Now.
Plus, the growing danger involving kids and caffeine.